The signal. The coffee had gone cold hours ago, but Marcus Holloway barely noticed. His eyes remained fixed on the cascading data streams flowing across the 12 monitors surrounding his workstation at Deep Space Monitoring Station Omega-7. Suspended in Titan's orbit, the station served as humanity's most distant early warning system, its sophisticated arrays constantly scanning the void for threats or opportunities. At 34, Marcus had spent the last 8 years listening to the universe's whispers. Most days brought only the familiar symphony of cosmic background radiation, pulsar rhythms, and the occasional chatter from merchant vessels traversing the outer colonies. Tonight felt different. Director Kane to communications. The intercom crackled. Status report. Marcus keyed his response. All quiet on the... He stopped mid-sentence as his primary monitor erupted with activity. Signal strength indicators spiked beyond anything he'd ever recorded. Ma'am, you need to see this. Immediately. Director Victoria Kane arrived within minutes, her military bearing evident despite having left active service 5 years ago. Her sharp gray eyes took in the data displays with practiced efficiency. Source? Kepler 442 system, Marcus replied, his fingers dancing across holographic controls. Approximately 57 light-years out. The power output is astronomical. Whoever's broadcasting this is using energy levels that dwarf our entire planetary grid. The translation algorithms worked frantically, converting alien linguistic patterns into comprehensible text. As words began forming on the screen, both humans fell silent. This is the final transmission from the Luminary Collective. Our worlds burn. Our children cry out as the Drakthul Empire reduces our cities to ash. We are not warriors. We have never known war. Our people flee in ships not meant for battle, seeking refuge among the stars. To any who receive this message, we are the last of 3 billion souls. The Drakthul call us the dimming lights, for our bioluminescent nature fails as we die. If there are others among the stars who value life over conquest, remember that we existed. Remember that we tried to live in peace. Kane's jaw tightened. Get Dr. Brooks up here. Now. Dr. Nathaniel Brooks, the station's xenolinguistics specialist, arrived within 20 minutes, his usually disheveled appearance even more pronounced from being roused from sleep. He spent an hour analyzing the linguistic patterns, cross-referencing, grammar structures, and phonetic elements against humanity's database of theoretical alien communications. It's authentic, he finally announced, removing his thick glasses to clean them nervously. The complexity of the language, the emotional intonations, this isn't some elaborate hoax. These luminary, they're real, and they're dying. Captain. Zoe Mitchell, the station's emergency response coordinator, leaned over Marcus's shoulder as more data streamed in. There are coordinates embedded in the transmission, star charts, tactical information about the attackers. They're hoping someone will come. Director Kane stood motionless for a long moment, staring at the alien message. Her mind raced through protocols, through the chain of command that would need to be activated. Finally, she turned to Marcus. Open a priority channel to Luna Command. Full encryption. Tell them we have a code-black xenological event requiring immediate council attention. She paused, her voice dropping to almost a whisper. And Marcus? Tell them we're not alone in the universe anymore, and someone out there is screaming for help. The transmission array powered up with a deep, resonant hum that vibrated through the station's hull. Across 57 light-years of empty space, a desperate plea had found its way to Earth. Now humanity would have to decide whether the universe's newest voices would be answered with silence or with fire. The decision. The emergency session of the United Colonial Defense Council convened in the crystal dome of Luna Station, Earth's pale satellite hanging like a guardian above the proceedings. Fleet Admiral Helena Cross stood at the center of the circular chamber, her decorated uniform bearing the scars of 3 decades defending humanity's expanding frontier. At 58, her silver hair was pulled back in a severe bun, but her green eyes burned with the intensity that had made her a legend during the Titan Rebellion. The transmission is confirmed authentic. Admiral Cross announced to the 12 council members representing Earth's colonies. 47 hours ago, we received humanity's first contact with an alien civilization. They are dying. The holographic display activated, showing star charts of the Kepler 442 system. 3 worlds appeared, their surfaces marked with spreading red zones indicating areas under attack. General Marcus Stone, head of Colonial Marine Forces, studied the tactical data with the keen eye of someone who had fought in every major conflict of the last 20 years. "Admiral, what are our military capabilities for an intervention of this magnitude?" asked Counselor Zhang from Mars Colony. Admiral Cross gestured, and the display shifted to show humanity's available forces. Task Force Prometheus can be assembled within 72 hours. 12 heavy cruisers, 6 carriers, 18 destroyers, and support vessels. Our most experienced crews, battle-tested against pirates and separatist forces. Ambassador Yuki Tanaka rose from her seat, her diplomatic training evident in her measured words. "With respect, Admiral, we're discussing intervention in a conflict between 2 alien species we know nothing about. What gives us the right to involve ourselves in extraterrestrial warfare?" The chamber fell silent until Dr. Phoenix Wright stepped forward. As humanity's leading military xenobiologist, his analysis would carry significant weight. His tall, lean frame and sharp features gave him an almost predatory appearance that matched his reputation for ruthless scientific precision. "I've analyzed every fragment of biological data from the luminary transmission," Dr. Wright began, activating detailed anatomical displays. "They evolved on a low-gravity world with minimal environmental pressures. No natural weapons, no aggressive instincts, no warrior caste. They're truly peaceful, incapable of effective military resistance." The display shifted to show reconstructed images of the Drakthul based on ship designs and intercepted communications. The attackers, however, come from a death world with gravity twice Earth's norm, extreme temperature variations, predatory ecosystems, constant natural disasters. They're apex predators like us. General Stone leaned forward, his scarred hands gripping the table. "You're saying they're Deathworlders?" "Exactly. But unlike humanity, they evolved without the cooperative instincts that allowed us to build civilization alongside our aggressive nature. They're pure predators, viewing weaker species as prey to be eliminated." Counselor Vega from Europa Station raised her hand. The resource implications alone. Her words were cut off as new footage streamed in from the luminary worlds. The holographic display showed cities of crystalline light being systematically destroyed, their bioluminescent inhabitants fleeing in panic as massive Drakthul warships reduced entire continents to molten slag. Ambassador Tanaka's composure cracked as she watched a group of luminary children, their bodies dimming as fear overwhelmed their natural glow, being herded into what could only be described as extermination facilities. "My God," she whispered. Admiral Cross's voice cut through the stunned silence. "Counselors, in my 30 years of service, I've seen humanity at its worst and its best. We've fought pirates, rebels, and each other. But we've never turned away from genocide when we had the power to stop it." General Stone stood, his massive frame imposing even in the low lunar gravity. "My Marines didn't sign up to watch children die while politicians debate. The Drakthul want to see what a real Deathworlder can do? Let's show them." Dr. Wright nodded grimly. From an evolutionary standpoint, this conflict was inevitable. The Drakthul represent conquest through extinction. Humanity represents survival through adaptation and alliance. This isn't just about the Luminari. It's about what kind of galaxy we want to live in. The vote, when it came, was not unanimous but decisive. 9 of 12 counselors voted to authorize Task Force Prometheus. As the chamber emptied, Admiral Cross remained, staring at the tactical displays showing the route to Kepler 442. Ambassador Tanaka approached her. "Helena, are you certain we're making the right choice?" The Admiral's expression hardened. "Yuki, for the first time in human history, we're not alone in the universe. Our first contact is witnessing genocide. If we don't act now, what does that say about who we are as a species?" Within hours, activation orders flashed across the solar system. Humanity's largest military expedition was about to launch into the unknown. carrying with them the hopes of a dying civilization and the fury of a species that had clawed its way to the stars. Fire and Fury Captain Dylan Storm felt the familiar vibration through the deck plating as the UES Retribution dropped out of hyperspace. Around him, the bridge of humanity's flagship hummed with controlled tension as his crew processed the tactical situation awaiting them in the Kepler 442 system. "Christ Almighty," whispered Navigation Officer Torres as the main screen resolved the scene before them. 3 luminary worlds hung in space like dying embers. What had once been vibrant planets now showed vast scars of orbital bombardment. Their bioluminescent cities reduced to flickering points of light against continent-sized burn zones. Surrounding them, 43 Dracthal warships continued their methodical extermination, their dark hulls bristling with weapons that had already murdered billions. Captain Storm, a veteran of the Outer Rim Wars at 39, had seen his share of destruction. But this systematic genocide stirred something primal in his chest, the same fury that had driven humanity to dominate a death world. "Tactical assessment," he ordered, his voice steady despite his rage. "Lieutenant Commander, Nova Pierce materialized as a hologram from her carrier, the UES Valkyrie. At 28, she was humanity's youngest squadron leader. Her reputation built on lightning-fast reflexes and an almost supernatural ability to predict enemy movements." "Sir, the Dracthal formation is defensive but overconfident. They're not expecting resistance." "Good," Storm replied grimly. "Let's give them an education in human warfare. All ships execute Plan Fury." What followed would later be studied in military academies across human space as a masterclass in adaptive tactics. Unlike the Dracthal's methodical approach, humanity struck with the chaotic precision of predators who had learned to hunt in packs. The human fleet scattered into 3 groups, using their superior speed and maneuverability to avoid the aliens' devastating plasma cannons while closing to effective range. Lieutenant Commander Pierce led the first wave, 60 fighters launched from 3 carriers. Her voice crackled over the comm system as her squadron dove through a gap in the Dracthal formation. "Remember, we evolved dodging meteors and hunting saber cats. These lizards have never seen anything like us." The human fighters moved like a school of deadly fish, weaving between the massive alien warships while delivering precisely targeted strikes at weapon systems and shield generators. Pierce's own fighter, painted with the image of a Terran eagle, rolled through a barrage of plasma fire that would have vaporized a less skilled pilot. Meanwhile, Sergeant Rex Valor prepared his marine assault teams for boarding operations. A mountain of muscle at 6'8", Valor had earned his reputation during the brutal fighting on Ganymede Station. His powered armor was scarred from a dozen campaigns, each mark a reminder of humanity's willingness to close with the enemy, when others preferred to fight at distance. "Listen up, Marines," Valor growled over the squad frequency as his assault shuttles approached a crippled Dracthul cruiser. "These bastards think they're apex predators. Time to show them what a real death world produces." The boarding action was brief and brutal. Dracthal warriors stood 7 feet tall with natural armor plating, but they had never faced opponents who combined human aggression with advanced technology. Valor's Marines moved through the alien ship like avenging angels, their weapons designed for the close-quarters combat that had defined human warfare for millennia. On the medical frigate UES Mercy, Chief Medical Officer Dr. Luna Hayes coordinated the largest xenological rescue operation in human history. Her auburn hair was tied back beneath a surgical cap as she supervised the treatment of luminary refugees, whose bioluminescent patterns told stories of unimaginable trauma. "Doctor, we're receiving hundreds of escape pods," reported her chief nurse. "The Luminari are abandoning their remaining cities." Dr. Hayes nodded, her green eyes reflecting both determination and compassion. "Set up triage stations in cargo bays 1 through 6. And remember, these beings have never experienced violence on this scale. Handle them gently." The battle raged for 18 hours. Human tactics, honed by centuries of warfare on a hostile world, proved devastatingly effective against the Dracthul's rigid formations. Captain Storm's flagship crippled 2 enemy dreadnoughts with concentrated fire, while Pierce's fighters systematically dismantled the alien fleet's coordination. The turning point came when Sergeant Valor's Marines captured the Drakthul flagship. The alien commander, a massive reptilian creature with gold-flecked scales, stared at Valor with what could only be described as shock. "Impossible!" the creature hissed through the translation system. "You are small. Weak." Valor's scarred face twisted into a predatory grin. "We're human, you overgrown gecko. We don't need to be the biggest. We just need to be meaner." The Drakthul fleet began its retreat. Battered and broken by humanity's unexpected ferocity, Dr. Hayes received a transmission from the surface of Luminara Prime. The voice was musical, filled with harmonics that spoke of hope returning to a dying people. "Humans of Earth," the luminary speaker said, their bioluminescent patterns brightening as fear gave way to gratitude. "You answered our call when the galaxy remained silent. Your species burns with a light we had not seen before. The light of those who protect rather than prey." Captain Storm stood in his damaged bridge, watching as the last Drakthul warships fled to hyperspace. Around him, his crew worked to coordinate rescue operations for the millions of Luminary survivors. Task Force Prometheus had lost 3 ships and over 200 personnel, but they had accomplished something unprecedented. Humanity's first interstellar war had been fought not for conquest, but for the protection of the innocent. The news would spread across the galaxy within days. A new species had emerged among the stars, one that combined the ferocity of apex predators with the compassion of civilization builders. Humanity had announced its presence to the cosmos not with conquest, but with the thunderous declaration that genocide would not stand unopposed. The age of human galactic protectorship had begun.